Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the BBQ podcast. It's me, Boom/Sam here, and I'm with Evan here, my co-host slash EA 10. So, hello, Evan.
Hello, Boom. How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. I hope you're doing well, and I hope our viewers are doing well at home. So, we have a pretty juicy podcast today. It's gonna be pretty epic. So, Nintendo released a huge direct full of stuff, and we're gonna talk about all the stuff in that direct pretty much. It's crazy. So I'll let Evan start leading that discussion now.
Massive. It was only like a 16-minute video, but just massive announcements for Mario games that we've been anticipating for a while, especially ones that we talked about in the last episode of this podcast. And we'll get to some of the bigger announcements, but let's talk about everything that was released. We got a ton of new like Mario merch. They're like clothes that are coming out, shirts. There are keychains for the Splatoon 2 Splatfest, which we'll briefly talk about. There are new toys coming out. Personally, I really want the Mario Monopoly. There there are new running shoes
Hmm.
coming out, and something that most people were excited about. Super Mario themed furniture is coming to Animal Crossing New Horizons. So that is pretty exciting.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. Like I didn't even know about the Splatfest stuff too. Like it's just pretty crazy what Nintendo's doing, eh? So let you continue talking now.
Yeah, Mario themed Nintendo missions are available on the Nintendo website now for small rewards. Things like this have been on the Nintendo website for a while. They're not a huge deal to most people, but of course some people might be interested in completing some of those missions. So yeah, there's special Mario themed ones up now. Mario Kart Tour, uh it's gonna have a Super Mario Kart Tour event with 16-bit Mario and Donkey Kong Jr. as playable characters from the SNES Mario Kart. What do you think about that, Boom?
That's pretty cool. Like I'm not really into Nintendo's mobile games, but like I like how they're doing. Like they're so in love to the mobile games, even though that they're not as popular as per se their consoles and stuff, right? So it's cool that they're still
Mhm.
updating and giving it content because if I'm not mistaken, it's free to play. So that's pretty good for
Yeah,
them that they're giving content to that still, doing special events, and that they're also showing Mario in all of its forms, like not just on the console, but they're also showing love to the mobile gamers out there.
yeah, and I do know like a lot of people who were like really excited about Mario Kart Tour and they were always playing it, especially when it came out. So hopefully this event brings a little bit of hype back to the game.
Hmm.
Super Mario Bros. Ultimate is having an online tournament with Super Mario themed stages and items. And this is going to be a big thing for a lot of people. Maybe it's just because they like tournaments, but the special Mario twist might be pretty interesting.
Yeah, Nintendo has hosted tournaments in the past for like Splatoon. I think I saw it. I just remember Mario Aces tennis tournament too. So Nintendo is
Mhm.
trying to get some more. Like I think they're trying to get more investments into their esports per se. So I do think these tournaments are a good idea for Nintendo. As esports, I really think they are going to become the future, at least a bit more and more, because more people are into gaming instead of real sports and coronavirus and stuff like that. So more and more people are watching esports instead of regular sports, and yeah, it's pretty good. So I think that's a
Yeah,
good idea for
for
Nintendo
sure.
there.
Yeah, and of course, as we mentioned earlier, Splatoon 2 is going to have a Super Mario themed Splatfest, which is great news to a lot of people. You know, lots of people like to grind out for the Splatfest, and it's a pretty big event. It's
Hmm.
going to have a super mushroom from Super Mario Bros. And an invincibility star, also from New Super Mario Bros. So two
Yeah.
power-ups, and it's going to be part of the Splatfest, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, that will be very interesting into the gameplay of Splatoon 2. Because I have played Splatoon 2 for a bit. It's a really good game. I just haven't bought it fully. I've just been able to play at my friends' houses, and I had it for free on trial for a bit. It's a really good game. So but I'm not really sure how they'll go with implementing these power ups because it's not really a game you think would need power ups. You know what I mean?
Yeah, so it'll definitely be interesting, and I'm quite excited to see how this Splatfest ends up working out.
For sure.
Also, a pretty big deal for a lot of people is that there's a Super Mario 35th anniversary Ninja course coming to Super Mario Maker 2. And of
hmm
course, there are plenty of speedrunners who like to grind out Ninja, so this is also going to make for this is a very good move by Nintendo.
Yeah, like I always see like little curbs and big speedrunners like that. Like I always see them posting their ninja attempts, and it's pretty crazy how fast they go. And like I just even can imagine all the YouTube videos that'll come out from this. Like imagine say you got number one on a Super Mario like anniversary themed course. Like that'd be super cool. I personally don't play Super Mario Maker 2 too much anymore. I used to quite a bit, but I'm taking a bit of a break from it. Uh, but I think that I may go back just to try this ninja course. So I think it'll bring a whole bunch of new players on because the other ninja courses start to get old after a while. First release, I was like, oh yes, these ninja courses are the best. But slowly and surely, I got bored of them, right? But like, if they do really good with this ninja course, I think this will be pretty good for that ninja stuff because then they'll maybe bring it back.
Yeah. And the last four things that we've talked about, Mario Kart Tour, Mario Smash Bros. Sorry, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and the Splatfest, and of course this Ninja course. They're very easy things for Nintendo to do. It doesn't take them a whole lot of time, but it
hmm
definitely builds up a lot of hype, and it's things that like everyone, well, not everyone, but they have a lot of big fans who are interested in these sorts of things. So definitely
Yeah,
good moves by Nintendo to implement these things as
yeah,
part of
just
Mario
even
35th.
yeah, just even keeping the stuff fresh a bit by adding just little things at a time that are easy to implement. Does a whole bunch for video games, like because I know like some games they never get updated, and it's like, oh boy, I just want something new. Just adding little things like this can spice them up enough to keep them alive. You know what I mean?
Yes, exactly. And then getting into some of the bigger announcements, this was the first announcement of the Direct. Super Mario Bros. Game and Watch, which will be available on November 1st of this year. It'll come with Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, and a Mario Pong sort of style game. I don't know what it's actually called. It's not Pong, but you have to like kind of juggle the balls, and it's not a really big thing. The big thing will be Mario Bros. And the Lost Levels. And I think it's
Mhm.
a pretty good idea for Nintendo to release this Game & Watch because there are plenty of collectors who are going to be very interested in getting this and adding to their Game & Watch collection. And I don't remember what the price is if they announced it. I'd imagine it wouldn't be too expensive. But it's definitely, I think, another good move for Nintendo to release something like this. There are plenty of people who are going to be interested in it, whether it's just for having the actual game and watch or if they actually intend to play the games. But yeah, great throwback for Mario's 35th.
For sure. I mean, I never had this Game and Watch before, but like this is a pretty cool collector's edition item you can get. You know, as you said,
Mhm.
and I do think some kids may be playing with it, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, definitely something that so probably will be geared a lot towards the older audience, but I'm sure some kids will definitely be interested in picking one of those up. Hopefully they're actually able to
hmm
beat the games because both of those games, especially the Lost Levels, if you see my streams recently, they're quite challenging games. But yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
so Super Mario All-Stars is now available on Super Nintendo Entertainment System, Nintendo Switch Online. So anyone with the Nintendo Switch Online subscription can now play Super Mario All-Stars. And if any of you don't know what that is, it's just a collection of Super Mario Bros., Super Mario Bros. The Lost Levels, Super Mario Bros. 2, and Super Mario Bros. 3. Except instead of being an 8-bit, they've been updated to 16-bit graphics, and this was released on the SNES, of course. Um, so yeah, it's pretty awesome. It's good for me as a speedrunner,
hmm
because I use the Lost Levels version for I use the All Stars version for the Lost Levels and Mario Bros. 2, just because it makes them a bit easier and more doable for me, I guess. Um, so yeah, great thing. Lots of people will be playing it,
Yeah,
I'm sure.
I'm really surprised on how much like Nintendo's investing into like those like spin-offs like Super Mario Switch Online, like
Hmm.
Nintendo Switch Online, like the NES and the SNES, right? Like they're
Yeah,
actually putting a lot of games on there, and they're actually putting a lot of work into that, which is really good because that's really bringing those games to like a newer generation. I know people who literally just got a Switch for the retro games, and like they just keep adding more and more stuff to it. Like I think eventually they'll probably have a N64 Nintendo Switch Online. That's what
yeah.
I'm hoping for at least, but
Yeah, for sure.
it's pretty
Nintendo
crazy.
is putting a lot into those online things. And again with Super Mario All-Stars, they already had this game. They just threw it on there. It was very little effort, but it's
Hmm.
a pretty big thing for a lot of people, especially me. I was like in the direct, I watched it on stream, and they're like later today it'll
Hmm.
releasing it. And later on that stream I played it, and it was pretty awesome. I love when even if it's very little effort for Nintendo, they pump things out like that, and it's all
Hmm.
it's really just great. Um
Yeah, it's
mhm.
also pretty good because they're not making as they could by putting the games on there. So that's also very nice of them that they're putting on their subscription
Mhm.
service instead of reselling them, you know?
Yeah, it's also good to know that Nintendo's still thinking about some of those older games, and they're definitely listening to their fans.
Mhm.
They did get that Mario Direct out there. People are no longer yelling at them on Twitter, which is definitely a great thing. Um,
That's one good thing.
and as far as N64 online, since we are just getting Super Mario 64 added to the collection, maybe we'll get N64 online, but I definitely don't think we'll be seeing that game on it. I think we will be waiting a little bit until we get a sort of N64 online collection, but I do think it will come out.
Yeah, I do think it'll probably take way over a year, but I do think eventually, because Nintendo I don't think has any plans to get rid of the Switch quite yet.
No.
And I do think they'll probably just maybe raise the subscription price instead of like I think it's like $8 a month. May raise that a bit, but like they may add that, and I think that'd be a really good idea for
Yeah,
them.
for sure. So I would give it about a year, probably a bit more. And I'm sure Nintendo's gonna start, adding a few things later into the Switch's lifespan. And of course, we are getting closer to the next console. It's been quite a while since the Switch was released. And of course, we can't forget Super Mario Bros. 35. And I'm really excited about this. When I saw this, I was so pumped up. I want this to be available right now. Of course, I have to wait till October 1st. But I'm really excited to be able to play Super Mario Bros. 35 in a new sort of way against people online. And I always like the idea of
Hmm.
Tetris 99, and I suck at Tetris. But now we're doing Mario Bros.
Yeah,
And I'm decent at that game, so I'm really excited to play.
yeah. I was looking at that, and I was like, was just thinking, I was like, oh my goodness, just imagine like a speedrunner playing that game. He can complete the game in like five
Yeah, I
minutes.
think like
Like that
Cosmic
would just
will
be so
win.
overpowered.
I think Cosmic will win like every
Yeah,
every round.
yeah, it's probably for sure. I just imagine that. Like, I was just like, that game is like so much advanced compared to like
Mhm.
Tetris. So it'll be very interesting how they'll make that
Yeah.
work well.
I'm really excited.
Like, it did look good in the trailers, but I'm hoping it's not like
Yeah,
clunky.
hopefully not. I'm super excited to see like how it all works. Like, cause the modes are like the same as Tetris 99, so
Mhm.
I'm a bit interested to see how it's gonna work out, because it's definitely, can't be the same sort of idea, right? But it's gonna be interesting. I think it's a really fun spin on the classic game that started Mario 35 years ago.
Yeah, I'm gonna play it a whole bunch, and yeah, it looks like it's gonna be fun. So
Now, my only
hopefully they just do a good job implementing
yeah,
it.
the only thing I don't like about it is that they're taking it off of the Switch after like a limited time. I think it's coming off at like the end of March or something. I really don't like that. I
Mhm.
feel like Nintendo might change it because I mean it is a free thing, right? It's for Nintendo Switch Online, and it might
Mhm.
be. We'll talk about 3D All Stars later and what Nintendo's doing with that. It might be the sort of thing where they're like, well, you better buy Nintendo Switch Online because you only have this long to play this thing. And I really don't like how Nintendo's, sort of taking that route in with 3D All Stars and with this. But
Yeah. I mean, I was watching like this theory video earlier today by someone. I'm forgetting the name, so I'm sorry I can't credit you right now. But basically, I'm thinking that this is also something I think as well. Since Nintendo's usually pretty consumer based, I think they're doing those like only limited time releases for something that's better later on. Like maybe they're gonna have like a virtual console
yeah,
or the N64, like Switch Online. That's what I'm hoping for, because I think that's what's gonna happen with the 3D All Stars, because it's only available for a limited
hmm
time. Um, it's a bit spoilers. So I'll actually discuss this later on in the podcast. But let's talk about Super Mario All Stars. I'll talk about that a bit more. But I'm hoping they have a bigger plan with it, and that it's just going to be against their later branding later on with this stuff. It'll be a bit weird having that old stuff, which is why they're removing it at this certain time. Because Nintendo's pretty consumer friendly, I say. But
yeah, yeah.
we'll
For the
have to
most
see.
part, they are. And I've seen a number of videos on YouTube like talking about this, and I've heard a lot of different opinions. And I'm not entirely sure what Nintendo's doing. I do feel like it's a combination of a few reasons. It's not like I don't think Nintendo's trying to rip people off necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
We know Nintendo does try to do that, but I don't think that's the only reason that they're doing this. And I guess we'll find out later. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 35, super excited for that game. It's gonna be really interesting, and if you want to see me play it, definitely tune into my streams. I will be trying to win as much as possible. Okay, Mario Kart Live Home Circuit was the
Mm-hmm.
other thing that was announced, and I was really confused. I was like, Mario Kart 9? Wait, what is this? I was hoping it was Mario Kart 9, but
Mm-hmm.
yeah, you guys can watch that reaction up on my YouTube channel as well. But yeah, I was pretty confused when I saw this, but it makes sense. It's a really good idea. I like the idea. You have the camera built into the car, and you can
I
make
think
your
you're
own
lagging out
courses.
here a bit, Evan. So um,
I really like the idea.
one, one second. I'm just gonna replace. I'm just gonna say again what Evan said, as I think he's lagging a bit, or I'm lagging a bit. So just make sure it's on both ends of the podcast. You guys can hear us fine. So home circuits, I'm pretty sure. I'm not 100% sure myself. Evan can correct me in a bit. But basically, it's like adding like your own home, these like toy objects, into like Super Mario 8 Deluxe. So you can like play your own circuit at
Yeah, so
home.
I think the
Is that correct,
software,
Evan?
I'm pretty sure I heard this, the software is going to be free to download, so it's not actually Mario Kart 8. And then you have to buy like the toy cars and like the goal finish lines and everything. And I think you
Mm-hmm.
can like customize how many laps probably. I'm not exactly sure how that all works, and I guess we'll find out soon. And this is also coming out very soon.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's definitely a thing that's weird.
Yeah. When I was looking at it, yeah, it's kind of a bit of a niche there. It's like a bit of a
Mhm.
interesting dynamic thing. It's kind of like the Switch fitness thing and like the Switch
Labo.
cardboard boxing, whatever that's called again. I'm trying to remember the name. Labo, there we go. Kind of a bit of a niche. So probably not going to.
Mhm.
It's probably gonna be a bit of like a hype at the start, and then slowly like
Yeah,
no one's
it
gonna
feels
talk
like
about it
one of
after
those
like a
sort of
year.
like Wii Sports sort of things where it's like all about the motion controls. Yeah, it very niche, which Nintendo likes to do, and in the
Mm-hmm.
past it's been a huge success for them. But this is definitely the sort of thing that's going to be very popular among like younger children, I think. And I kind of want it. I don't know if I want to spend my money on it. I might
Mm-hmm.
just like watch videos of people using it because it looks kind of cool. I don't think I'd really use it though. So yeah. but definitely a good like family sort of fun Mario Kart
Yeah,
game.
something you want to get. Hmm. Yeah, it's usually something. It's like one of those things you want to get, but then you're like, $100 for a toy Mario Kart?
Yeah,
No, thank you.
it's a very
So
cool concept.
we'll see.
I
Hopefully, they do
really
make
like
it
the
pretty cheap.
concept by
But
Nintendo with that one, and I don't know who came up with that, but I never really would have thought to do that. So that was a really, really cool idea, and we'll definitely see.
hmm
Hopefully, they actually work.
yeah,
That's always a bit of a concern, but also I think the battery life is going to be pretty short, like an hour
yeah,
and a
not
half
just some glitchy
tops.
stuff.
So depending on whether you're racing 50, 150,
Yeah, that'll be
100
interesting.
cc.
hmm So yeah, that'll be very interesting. We'll have to see what they're going to do with
And
that.
Super Mario, we're getting to the big
Yeah.
one. Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury was announced at the Direct. This, I was so excited. And if you watch my reaction to Bowser's Fury, I was like, what is this? I was like, is this old content? Is this new content? Then it took me a minute to figure out, yeah, this is definitely new. And I was like, I don't know what it's gonna be about. I don't exactly know what's gonna happen.
hmm
But it looks pretty exciting, and I'm really pumped to see what it's all about.
Yeah. I'm really interested what Nintendo is going to do to 3D World because on 3D World, a lot of the stuff that you had to do with some levels, you had to like blow in the mic of your gamepad and like touch stuff on your gamepad. So I'm not really sure
Yeah,
how they'll implement
it'll
that
definitely be
to the
interesting.
Switch. You know what I mean? Because like there since hmm like they're gonna have to either code some different stuff in there, but because like Nintendo's for Nintendo Wii U, they're really trying to get like people to use the gamepad,
Yeah,
right? Make sure it's like the main gimmick of it, right? Nintendo Switch is it's not really that gimmick. It's a bit of a different one, right? And I just think it'll be very interesting how they go about that, right? But I think you said Smith told me about this earlier, but apparently it's going from 1.8 gigabyte file to like
yeah.
5.5.
I
Is
think
that
like
correct?
I don't know the exact numbers, but I believe the old file was like 1.7, 1.8 gigabytes. And I heard this thing where it's going up to five. I'm not exactly sure if it's going up to five, but apparently it's going up a lot of gigabytes. The files being boosted a ton. So either Bowser's Fury
Mm-hmm.
is this massive thing. I'm sure they are updating textures and graphics a little bit. It was a very, very pretty game when it was released on the Wii U. But there's always room for improvement as far as graphical
Yeah,
capabilities. So I'm sure they're doing some of that.
but yeah, but now that I think about it, I think maybe that since they're trying to
Hmm.
implement some of the stuff in the gamepad functions
Yeah.
into like the Switch itself, that could explain maybe some of the
Yeah, that's also possible.
data differences there. So, but hopefully that's not it. And games and just back to
But
Fury is a lot of new
I
content,
do think that means
but
that
we'll
we're
have to see.
getting some more
It's very
worlds,
interesting.
some more levels, whether they're from 3D Land or some new stuff entirely, which would be pretty cool, on top of Bowser's Fury. And hopefully we also get some new characters. Of course,
Hmm.
that's not like a huge like data. It doesn't take a lot of space, but hopefully we are getting some new characters. That would be a missed opportunity if Nintendo didn't add any.
For sure.
Anyways, the speculation about all of this is, we were trying to figure this out for months. We were like, what's happening? Is it really happening? And of course, it came out. So we definitely want to hear your thoughts on what you guys think will be in Super Mario 3D World. Again, we have very, very little
Hmm.
answers. Of course, we're going to get the base game and everything that was on the Wii U.
Yeah.
And we're getting Bowser's Fury. What do you think Bowser's Fury is going to be about? Is it going to be
Um,
like,
I'm just gonna do 1 second there. So guys, there's a bit of connectivity there with me and Evan there. So if there is a bit of a pause there with a break, Just letting you guys know that's no issue and it should be fixed now. So I'm just letting you guys know that. So I'm not really sure what Bowser's Fury it is. Like maybe it's just gonna be like a whole bunch of boss fights, but it's really hard to
Mm-hmm.
think because like Bowser's Fury that doesn't give very much. It's probably gonna be something cat related because that was kind of a gimmick that game had
Yeah.
was cats.
Mario
um,
was wearing a cat suit in the trailer.
yeah, it'd be very interesting to do what they're gonna do with that, but it's probably gonna be something with boss fights with all a whole bunch of different bosses. Because they did have not just like the Koopalings in Super Mario 3D World. They did have a few other bosses in there that were a bit more unique.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully they keep
Actually, there weren't
unique
any of the
bosses.
Koopalings, right? It was just Boom
No,
Boom and Pom Pom.
yeah, I think that's accurate actually. I'm trying to remember, but I think just Boom Boom and Pom Pom is correct.
Yeah,
So,
I want to see some of the Koopalings in 3D. I really want to
mhm.
see that.
So yeah, they could add all the Koopalings with that. They could add Bowser, a bunch of unique bosses, Bowser Jr., like a whole bunch of different
Hmm.
bosses like that. Since it's also Mario's 35th anniversary, they could also maybe do like a throwback level with like Donkey Kong or something. That'd be
Hmm.
pretty cool, but we'll have to see.
I sure hope that whatever it is, we get to have the option of playing with Bowser or something. That'd be really, or playing with Cat Bowser. That'd be really cool.
Hmm.
I really want to see if Nintendo makes that a possibility. Um, and maybe it'll be some sort of story mode where you play as Bowser. That might be pretty interesting. I don't know. It's definitely something I'm interested in, and I can't wait. So
Yeah,
Super Mario 3D All Stars was the final announcement, and it started off with we saw Super Mario 64, and we're also getting Sunshine and Galaxy. It's all confirmed that that's happening. No Galaxy 2. We'll give our thoughts on that in a minute, but first of all, 64 had like no graphic. Well, it was improved, but still very much polygons, and it's still in 4:3. The top like the coins and stuff, whatever that's called again, that was updated. That looks nice now, but yeah, not
yeah.
the sort of improvements we were hoping for that game.
Personally, I kind of actually kind of like the lower graphics because I don't like sure it would look really cool in like really good HD, right? But I kind of like how it's like not just like a completely new game, and it still kind of has the bit of the old
Hmm.
classic look. So I'm kind of glad
Yeah.
they just did slight touches and not just like huge, massive touches. If you know what I mean. But
Hmm.
yeah, it does look pretty good though. The game, at least decently, a bit more better. But yeah, but it's interesting.
From what I've heard, the BLJ is also patched now, which I don't know if that's true, but if the BLJ is patched, that's gonna be a bit of a problem for me.
Yeah,
But
we'll
yeah.
have to
I mean,
see.
I love the game the way it is, so it's not a huge deal for me, but I would have liked to see it in HD. Now
Hmm.
it's not a big deal for me, but it might be for some other people.
For sure.
And Sunshine's now a widescreen, and the textures have been cleaned up a ton. It's just been improved so much, and the game looks really good now. Like it's not like great, but it looks really great now, and I'm really excited to play it.
Yeah, I think that's the compared to the old ones, it does look really good now. I'm also really excited to play it too because I never really played the old one. Like I've heard of it and like watched people play it. It looks like a great game, but never had the opportunity myself to actually sit down, play the whole story mode, and actually enjoy playing it. So yeah, I'm actually really excited for that because then I get to play it. The graphics looks pretty good, and overall it looks really well compared to like other games. So
Hmm. Yeah, very exciting. Um, and hopefully, it looks like the jump's a bit higher. I like the mechanics the way they were, but I'm sure they tweaked with them a little bit to make it a little bit more beginner friendly, which I'm fine with. But yeah. I'm
Hmm.
just really excited to see it in widescreen and with those updated graphics. Just from the trailer, it looks really great, and I'm excited to play it. I just, yeah, that's definitely the game I'm most excited for. Hopefully, they didn't patch big things like GBS, although I'm sure they did, which would suck. Of course, for any of you Sunshine speedrunners, that means an additional 10 to 15 minutes, depending on your skill level, for every single speedrun. Um,
Hmm.
well, at least for any percent, not for some of the other categories. But yeah, it's not ideal if they did do that, and I'm sure they patched Yoshi Skip too, which means you know, you can't go to Pianta after Gelato, and yeah, whole bunch of things that they might have patched. We'll see what actually happens. Um, but yeah, the just new graphic capabilities look pretty great, and that's a pretty good incentive for most people to buy it.
Hmm.
And finally, the last game that was announced was Super Mario Galaxy. Not much change with that. Looks like we're just getting like gyro motion control sort of thing, which is what everyone thought would happen for collecting star bits. Makes
Hmm.
sense. Might be a little bit more difficult to control, but shouldn't be really a big deal. Shouldn't deter anyone from buying the game, of course.
Yeah, I think it's just good that they're also throwing that in there, even if those graphic like are just ever so slightly, and it's not much changes at all. Just throwing it into another game in there makes a lot more value for full price. They're actually selling the game for full price if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it's standard $60 US, $80 Canadian.
Hmm. Which is quite interesting because a lot of people I think we're hoping for a bit of a discount since they're all older games. But I
Hmm.
personally, I think $80 Canadian for all those games, well, I think it's really worth it.
Yeah, I
But
it's definitely worth it considering like for like some copies of Sunshine now, you're looking at
mhm,
upwards of $80, $90, sometimes upwards of $100 just for Sunshine. Galaxy, you're looking upwards of $20, sometimes even upwards of $50.
mhm,
64 is still pretty cheap, but it's still like another $10, $20. $80 for this collection and with updated graphics is, even though it's not like
yeah,
all a bunch of added content and DLC like some people were hoping, it's still a really great deal.
yeah, it is a really good deal because I was like, because like all those games are super old. That means they've stopped making them for quite a while, therefore making them more and more scarce as more and more games get broken and destroyed
Hmm.
from older ones, right? So I think it's actually a
Yeah.
pretty good deal for your buck. Um, so yeah, I'm just hoping that they either bring it back because it's only a limited release. So I'm just hoping
Hmm.
they'll bring this game back, or I started talking about maybe another plan they have. So I'm hoping if since it's a limited release, they're going to release some of these other games onto the Switch themselves
Hmm.
for some money, helping virtual games like virtual consoles back onto the Switch. Um, that's what I'm hoping for, because otherwise it won't. That's what I'm hoping they're only doing it for a limited time, as then
Yeah.
it'll maybe contradict their future deals. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And let's not forget, 10 years ago during Mario's 25th anniversary, Super Mario All-Stars was released on the Wii, the one from Super Nintendo. And it was
Hmm.
also a limited time release. The thing about that was that if you never got to get that game when it was limited release, wasn't a big deal because there are plenty of other places that you can play that exact same game. You just don't have like the collector's thing that came with it, which most
Hmm.
people don't care about. But with 3D All Stars, this is the first time it's being released, and they're just taking it off the market, and it kind of sucks because this is definitely something that more people would be interested in. Um,
Hmm.
and especially if people don't have money when it's being sold. Afterwards, it's going to be really difficult to get your hands on one, and eventually the price is going to go up pretty high.
Yeah, like even
So,
I was thinking of maybe buying two of them just because I can sell another one for a higher price. I
yeah,
probably won't do
that
that,
that's
but
actually a good idea.
there's considering that how much I think it's going to be, I will probably like there's just going to be a whole bunch of like price gougers on the market afterwards. It's because they're limiting their scarcity here. So like it's gonna go super high in value. I'm hoping to be able to get a physical copy, if one, maybe two, but it'll be very difficult to even get one. I'm hoping I'm able to get one, but if I'm not, I'll have to go digital because all I really care
Yeah,
about is just a copy of this game. So yeah, we'll
yeah.
have to see. I'm also not
And
a
yeah,
big fan of the limited release. Sorry, you
definitely
go.
if it's not a huge pain for you, get the physical copy because that'll be worth a lot in the future.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Usually I only get digital, but this one I know, oh, this one's gonna be pretty like it's a collector's edition kind of, and it's
Yeah.
gonna be worth a lot in the future. And if I keep care of it, it'll
Mhm.
be nice. So I'm hoping I get a few physical copies. Um,
Yeah, anyone who normally goes
hmm,
digital, definitely consider getting it physical. I know it's a pain to switch the cartridges, but get physical. It's a
yeah, this
smart
one's for
move
sure
for
a
this one.
physical one. Even guys, even though a lot of you guys may not like this because of COVID and stuff, you guys may not be a big fan of going in person to shop. You guys can get it off Amazon physical. You may want to consider doing that if
Hmm.
you don't want to go into stores during COVID and all that stuff. So,
Hmm.
yeah, another thing related to COVID, I'm not a big fan of the limited release because this year's been pretty tough on a lot of people. So not a lot of people may all be a sudden be able to pay $80 for a game, right? I
Yeah,
know me, I'm like, oh my goodness, do I have $80 to pay for this game by March? Like I didn't really budget it, but if they didn't limit it, I'd not need to rush about buying it. Like I'd kind
yeah,
of be able to consider it, is it worth my money a bit more than what I'm doing currently? You know what I mean?
yeah, for sure. So yeah,
Um,
what do you think about Galaxy 2? Do you think it'll come in a DLC sort of style thing?
I'm hoping if we're correct, but like maybe like this future Nintendo branding idea. That's why they're doing a limited release for this. I'm hoping they'll release it for like maybe part of a virtual console. But it wouldn't
Mm,
surprise me if we never ended up getting it at all because we like Galaxy, and I think that's asking enough from Nintendo.
yeah. I was it does feel weird that they would leave it out. And I was watching a Nintendo Land video and he was like, "Well, they might have run out of space on the actual cartridge." And that's definitely a possibility because they're three pretty big games. And they don't take up a small amount of space. So
Hmm.
running out of space on the cartridge could have been an issue, especially since Galaxy 2 is also another massive game. So I don't, maybe they
Hmm.
just weren't able to fit it all and they're gonna release it as DLC. I'd like to see
We'll
that.
have to see.
I don't know whether it'll be paid or not, but
Yeah, it's for sure interesting because like even Nintendo doing like cartridges on the Switch is very interesting. So like this may be a time where it's actually like biting in the butt for the reason the cartridges. Because I know there's a lot of games on the Switch which are download only, but on other consoles you can get physical because of the cartridges. So
yeah.
yeah, and hopefully Nintendo for the next console they do use disc because it will sure not limit them as much. Um, but yeah, do you have anything else to
Mhm.
add?
No, that's about it. So yeah, we
Um,
really did unpack the Mario. So now, Boom, do you want to switch over to talking about Fall Guys?
yeah, so we decided we'll just do a short segment at the end here, guys. Will probably be our last segment. But we're going to be talking about Fall Guys for a bit. So I was just wondering, Evan, like a lot of people didn't think on the PlayStation 4, Fall Guys would be the number one selling. They thought it'd be this other game. I'm trying to remember the name now. I think it was like Uncharted 4, maybe. I think it was, but like it almost doubled Uncharted 4, like in sales. Like I think it took everyone off their like feet. Like, how is this game so popular with its simplicity and everything like that? So I was just wondering, why do you think it's so popular right now?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Fall Guys is it's a pretty cool game. I've been watching people play it a lot, and I'm not
Hmm.
super interested in it, but I can definitely understand why people would be really into that game. It looks like a really fun sort of game style.
Yeah, I do think I don't see anyone like super into it. But it's a fun game just to play for for a few minutes, a bit more casual type. Because I know a lot of people who like do
Hmm.
pro Overwatch and stuff like that. Their queue times will take like 10 minutes, 20 minutes just to find a game, right? So a lot
Right.
of them have been playing Fall Guys when they're waiting for a game to pass the time. So I think it's a really good game for that. I love its simplicity, and yeah, I think the simplicity of the game just helps it grow, and people like the simplicity of it. Um, I was also I was also wondering, do you think it'll come to the Switch anytime soon, or what do you think about that?
I'm definitely hoping for it, and of course, I don't know a whole lot about the company that made it. Um,
Well,
and
they they did sign a deal with Sony to only have on the PlayStation 4 for a while and PC. But I do know,
hmm
like Nintendo Switch, as someone I saw discussing this, it just opens up to so many more users, especially since Nintendo has a more kid-centered console, and it's a more of a kids game. It sure make them
yeah,
a lot of money, so they're probably are going to try to push it on. But I'll let you talk a bit more about that.
yeah. No, for sure. It would be very beneficial to have it on the Switch. And I'm sure
Hmm.
that's why Sony was quick to make sure that, they got the game. But yeah, definitely a very cool game, and I really like to see it on Switch pretty soon if possible. Um it
Yeah, I have
I
my
really do
doubts it'll
want to
come
play it.
soon, but
Yeah, no, I definitely have doubts too, but I do really want to play it. It's not like, something that really is super exciting for me, but it looks pretty cool, and
hmm.
that's good enough for me.
All right. Do you have anything else to add to this podcast?
That's it. We covered a whole lot of stuff today about Fall Guys and the Mario Direct. It's a very exciting podcast.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening to this podcast. We'll see you in the next episode, and stay tuned for more.
Go subscribe to my YouTube channel at EEVAN10 on YouTube. That's EEVAN10 on YouTube. You can also find my Twitch channel with the same username. And don't forget to go subscribe to BoomBQ as well.
We go. Hello, everybody. This is the post
Hello,
commentary
everybody.
section. Yes, this is the post commentary section of the BBQ podcast, which you can only hear here on YouTube, where we do the official premieres of the podcast. Don't forget to check out the other platforms, but I'm here with BoomBQ. Hi,
Hello, everyone.
BoomBQ.
Hello. 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 How's everyone doing today? Hope you're all doing good.
So it was a pretty fun podcast that we had talking about the Mario Direct. There was a whole lot to cover. Um,
For sure.
And yeah, we don't really have anything planned about what we're going to talk about, but we'll just give some of our thoughts on what we talked about in the podcast in a bit more depth.
hmm So, I guess we can start on the. I guess we'll start on the direct. I guess maybe. Trying to think what would be the best
Yeah.
thing to start with. So there was not any more information, at least none that I read since we talked about it. Any changes in that?
Mhm.
We do
I
record only a
haven't
few
seen.
days.
Yeah,
Sorry, I'll let you go.
yeah, we do only record a couple days in advance. We recorded this on Friday, now it's Sunday. But I do want to say I
Yeah.
have seen some new content or some new gameplay released of Super Mario Sunshine, Super Mario 64, and Super Mario Galaxy. There was some released on Twitter of Sunshine, and then there was some more gameplay of all the games released on the Nintendo Minute on the Nintendo YouTube channel. So we got to see the home menu of the game, and
go check out the video on the Nintendo YouTube channel for yourself. It's hard to explain in an
Hmm.
audio only sort of thing. But yeah, we have seen a bit more of what the game is to be looking like, and we've also seen the intro sort of animation. Each game has like the intro thing, and they press A to go into the save files and stuff. Odyssey doesn't have that, but the other 3D Mario games do. And we got to see what it looked like for 3D Mario All Stars. So yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I personally didn't watch that, so it's good we have someone out
Hmm.
today on the news here. Um, on other news, guys, I got Skittles yesterday, so that's my news for this post commentary section.
That is pretty pog. I'm not gonna lie, Skittles are.
That is pretty pog. Unfortunately, I already ate them all because I ate way too much Skittles. But other than my bad diets there, I guess we can discuss more about Fall Guys if we want. So let's like, how do I phrase this here? Oh, it's a Fall Guys is. I think. That's a good question I can ask here. Um, if you have any points of discussion, you can bring them up too. So we discussed about how how simple stuff like that, like how simple games can
Yeah.
actually make a huge effect on the market during the podcast a bit. We kind of roughly touched on that, but maybe we can maybe discuss
Yeah,
about how COVID-19 has affected the video game market a bit here, and how it's maybe helped games that would have rather not succeed now. You know what I mean? For
well,
instance,
we do know that Animal Crossing New Horizons
mhm,
was extremely popular. Nintendo made
mhm,
massive amounts of money off of that because everyone's at home and they want a game to play
yeah,
because they don't have as much to do. So yeah, Animal Crossing Nintendo's kind of lucky with the whole pandemic thing. They made a
yeah.
lot more money because of it. Um
Because right now, if games release, since people are stuck at home and want to play more games,
yeah,
there's
exactly.
there's able they can make more money from them, and it makes the only issue is that since the game studios are shut down, not so many of them are being released. So this can
Yeah.
really help out your game if you manage to release the game during the COVID
Yeah,
window.
and a good game like Animal Crossing.
Yeah, for
Nintendo just
sure.
happened to be on a really great and lucky schedule with that one.
For sure. Because I
So
remember
yeah,
people joking about saying, "Oh, I think I'll need to take out the whole month of April just to play Animal Crossing."
yeah.
Well, the whole month of April happened to be free for them. Uh,
They got it.
yeah, so I think that's part of the reason Fall Guys has been such a success, is
Hmm.
because of that. So I think this
Yeah, I
window of
was
the new
talking about
games.
Fall Guys. Sorry.
Yeah,
I was
sorry, you
talking
can
about
talk
Fall
now.
Guys with some of my friends earlier, and we are like, it's kind of similar to the Fortnite situation a while ago.
Hmm.
How it just blew up all of a sudden, and it's a
Yeah,
pretty new game too. And Fall
for sure.
Guys, it's a really interesting concept. Not like the battle
Hmm.
royale thing, of course. Much,
Yeah,
it's
it
much
really
more
shows
unique.
how. Hmm. It's like a very unique concept with all the
And
jelly and stuff that it falls into.
yeah, I talked about this in the podcast too. I really want to play it. I just don't have the, unfortunately. But yeah,
Yeah,
I
I would
really want to
really
play it.
I just want to experience a few rounds. I don't think it's a game I'd play all the time, but I just want to play it just to experience it. You know what I mean? The only issue is that my PS is
Yeah.
not so good and I don't have a PS4. But I remember during like the beginning of this pandemic, during March, and Switch's prices were way up because of this video game effect, right? Everyone wanted to play on Animal Crossing, therefore the Switch price rose because people were buying Switches for Animal Crossing. Like I remember seeing on
Hmm.
Kijiji, Switch is selling for like $600, like way more than their value. I
Wow.
was tempted to sell mine, but
Yeah.
I didn't.
It might have been worth it actually.
It might have been, but I couldn't. I wanted to play games myself, so you know.
You could have just bought another one too.
Yeah, I would have bought another one, but would have been a lot of work for me.
Yeah. We also talked about the 3D Mario All Stars situation with physical, and I've seen
Hmm.
a new YouTube video. Pre-orders are out on a couple of websites for Super Mario
Another
3D
tip.
All Stars.
Another tip, guys. If you guys go to like a local Walmart in a small town, like let's say it's town of like really small, right? You go to their tech
Mhm.
section, like Walmart, right? They're not as trained as well in the new video games and when they're supposed to be released. So if you ask if they have a game in stock, like Super Mario All Stars, they may say, "Oh, let me check in the back for you," and they'll check in the back and see it, and they won't know that's supposed to be a pre-release, right? And they'll just give it to you for
Oh,
free.
that is.
Someone I know my one cousin, he did that. I'm pretty sure for I'm trying to remember. I think it was Mario Kart 8 for the Wii U. He lives in a small town. He just went to the Walmart since there's some old fellow working there. Since they're usually pretty old, felt like staffed, and they're not like the best with the video games markets. You just ask them, "Do you have this in the back or something?" And they'll usually say, "Let me check for you."
Mhm.
And if you have it, they'll let you buy it early. So pro tip for all you
Mhm.
guys right there. I'm personally may make a trip out to a small town just to get it a bit early, but I'll have to see what my schedule's like. um, but yeah, I've also heard a news. Like I saw a news article this morning. It was like I think it was like a chain. In the United States. I think it was like Target or something. They're like, we're gonna wait to release the game because we're so under like um, what's the word? They have so much less stock than needed, right? So much under stock. So
Mhm.
uh, that's will be
So
very interesting. It's gonna be a very popular game.
hopefully I can get my hands on a copy of the game pretty quickly because pre-orders being sold out in a few places already.
Hmm.
That's a big deal. That means it's gonna be very popular. Um,
Yeah, I need to pre-order it, but I've been too lazy to right now.
I'm not gonna pre-order. I want to wait until it comes out to get it, but
Yeah, me too. But I think I'm gonna do it anyways, just so I can make sure I have it for sure. It's an interesting
yeah, it's true.
situation.
It is, and I might, depending on how the game is, might end up going out later on before it is off the shelves and buying a second physical copy. Um, and
Yeah,
not
same
opening
for
it.
me.
Like get another physical copy. This is my advice for people. Get another physical copy. Don't open it. Okay? Keep it
Hmm.
sealed and everything and put it in like one of those preserver things that like preserves the
Yeah,
game
nice case,
in like
guys.
good condition and everything. And then in many years, not many people will have the game in that condition and it'll like not even opened yet. That'll be incredibly valuable. So definitely do that,
Hmm.
guys, if you have the money to buy two copies.
For sure, I'm gonna
Or
probably do
maybe
that as
just
well,
buy
just
one
for the
copy
investment.
and yeah. So
It's up to you
it's a
guys. You
good
guys
idea.
do the risk. Yes, guys has to do
Hmm.
your own risk calculation for that. Every business is a slight risk,
Although since
so
it
you
is a
could lose
limited time
money.
release,
Hmm.
yeah, it's possible. Since it
It
is
is
a
a pretty
limited
low
time release,
risk,
though, yeah,
but
your
make
risk is
sure to.
extremely low. You have very good chances.
But just make sure you know, guys. Be extremely careful with this stuff, right? We're not business professionals, me and
Mhm.
Evan here. So don't take legal
No.
advice or business advice from us. We're just two teenagers on the internet.
Yeah, if you do have any financial issues, definitely don't do this.
Yeah, if
But if
my
you have
dad's an
an
accountant,
extra
so
$80, if you have an
that's just
extra
not
eighty
me.
dollars lying around, though, if you have an extra $80 lying around, go ahead and get that second copy to keep it in a safe place. Sell many years in the.
I
Anyways,
think you cut out
that's about.
there.
Oh, sorry. Did I cut out?
I think you did. Can you just repeat what you said there? I'm not sure if it's
Yeah.
my end or.
I'll repeat it. So yeah, we're not business professionals, right? But you know, if you have an extra $80 lying around you don't need, or it's not a big deal to spend it, then definitely go ahead and keep this game unboxed, safe place. And it should be, especially since it's a limited time release, your risk is extremely low.
For
You
sure.
should be able to sell it many years in the future. Like I'm thinking like 20, 30, maybe even 40. The longer you wait, the more valuable.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
might
you guys
be a
have
good
to.
idea.
Also, guys, just think about how like popular it is right now, because that'll be a pretty good idea on how big it'll be in the future.
And
Also,
like
for this
considering
thing as well.
pre-orders are sold out.
Hmm. Just another idea as well, guys. If you're thinking about getting this game and you're like going to like a Mario convention a few years in the future or whatever to meet some like famous characters, you may want to consider bringing that game along with you that you won't try and keep it in mint condition to ask them to sign it, as that could also increase the value of it. Like let's
Yeah,
say
that's
the
also
voice
true.
actor of Mario or some people like that. Again, yes, so you're on risk and everything. So
Yeah. But yeah, I definitely recommend getting physical. There's no reason not to unless you are lazy and don't want to go to the store, which,
that's my
that's a
issue right
valid
now.
reason. That's a valid excuse. I
Especially during
respect that,
this
but
COVID-19.
yeah, you should really try to get a physical copy. Anyways, I think that's about all we have to talk about for this section.
Yeah, I think that's good. I'll let you do the outro.
Yeah, okay. So thank you guys if you made it this far in the podcast. Remember, this part of the premiere only happens here on YouTube, but you can now the podcast will be up in the links at the description below. We have it on Anchor, Spotify, Google Podcasts, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and you can add it to your RSS feed. Unfortunately, Apple Podcasts would not let us on yet. But if you guys help us grow and share the podcast, then hopefully eventually we'll be able to get
Yeah, if
on.
you guys want, you guys can just harass Apple employees asking to accept our podcast, and maybe it'll work. No, please don't take legal advice from us.
yeah, don't do that. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to share the podcast. It'll also be going up on Twitch too if you prefer that platform. But yeah, that's about it. We'll have the next podcast out in another 2 weeks. Bob O'Clock Podcast episode 3. So we'll see you guys then.
Bye,
Any parting
everyone.
words, BoomBQ? Bye.
Then, yeah, bye, everyone.
Bye.